Come, come. Come, come. Which one? So, the coronavirus is an end-time plague in the Bible.
Shalom, we're the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, at the Commander GEN.YAHANNA. That coronavirus is an end-time plague in the Bible.
That's right.
You know, think about it. Look at all, corona is a virus, right? That's what it is. It's a virus. And it's awfully funny because they gave it the name Corona when Corona ain't got a damn thing to do with no Asians.
Right.
That's not an Asian name at all. You know, that's not what Corona. Think about that for a second. Does it sound a Corona? They can't even pronounce that. Well, it would be Kawawa. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't say the R sound. Asians can't say the R sound. So how the hell is coronavirus going to be something that has to do with something that inside their language? It's not. You know who they try to drop it on? They try to drop it on I.S.U.P.K because a lot of Israelites look Asian. That's why they try to do that. You know, they got the, light brown skin, straight hair. So they try to, say y'all are the fault for this.
Right.
That's what they try to say. This stuff is not new. And the Lord plagues these people. The Lord hits them with some fury. And what he does, he tries to show them, look what you're doing to my people.
Right.
The Lord tries to show them. That's why he don't just destroy them all at once and just wreak all out havoc upon them like that. He tries to do it measure by measure just to show them, look, make an atonement for this.
Right.
Put an effort to make an atonement for this. And things might be good for you. But what do? They get even more angry. And they get angrier and angrier. Now, let's go into the scriptures right quick. I think we should go from, I'm going to go from Exodus chapter 1 and verse 5. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation, means they were all gone at this time. And the children of Israel were fruitful. What does that mean? We start to populate. Brothers had 6, 7 wives, 21 children, 30 children, right?
Right.
That's how it starts to happen. And increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty. Because now think about it for a second. The whole world was scared of us also behind what happened in Shechem, too.
Right.
With Simeon and Levi. So the whole world was scared of us. And they was like, man, these niggas here, we can't allow these niggas to grow.
That's right.
We can't allow them to prosper. We can't allow them to take cities and stuff like that. We can't allow them to do that. That's how they was thinking. Go ahead.
And if I may, that seemed like a trait of the white man today.
It is. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And the white man, who did he learn from? The white man learned from these cultures.
Right.
And even though he had a born hatred for us, he learned from these cultures. And the land was filled with them. Look at this. And think about it. These big niggas, these big old, you know what I'm saying? These big niggas, basketball dunking, big old, huge, strong, powerful dudes. They're like, man, we got to do something about them.
Right.
because that's what the the whole coronavirus and everything is. Really, I mean, the Most High, hit them with it. But what do they try to do? They try and swerve it in a way that leads back to us. That's why they called it Corona.
Right.
That's why they called it that. Corona is a beer that Mexicans are known for drinking, right?
Right.
That's what it is. Which blows back to all of us Israelites. They're trying to blame Israel for that virus, and that's even more reason to separate. And waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. And there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And what does it mean? But when it said that he knew not Joseph, it means that go ahead, Word, if you want to rock it out.
When it's like, if I could, it's saying he knew not Joseph. It's like a new regime came in, and Joseph was somebody that was respected even in that heathen culture.
Right.
If I could, and now you got somebody like, who is he? I mean, who is he? I don't care who Joseph was. You gonna work for me, or you gonna do this? Y'all gonna do this? So they didn't respect the Hebrews. Right. He represented the Hebrews too.
When I say he knew him not, he knew not Joseph, that means he didn't give a damn about what Joseph did. He didn't care.
Right.
There was no agreement between him and Joseph. There was none. And that's what he means also.
It's real heavy, because that's just like the white man too, or any brother, like the scriptures say, ye of your father the devil. They forget about your good works.
Right.
And then they don't know, all of a sudden they don't know you no more. Oh, you bougie, you brand new.
Right.
And that's exactly, what's going on here, if I could. So,
right. Exactly. That's exactly what it is, because see, here's the thing, what people don't know. When Abraham went into ancient Egypt, right? When Abraham went into Egypt, he prospered in Egypt, and he taught them knowledge and everything. They weren't like that at first. And then when Joseph came into the picture, right?
Right.
They were split up into the different families of Mitzrayim. There was no Egypt for real like that. You know what I'm saying? There was all of these different families of the lands of Mitzrayim. Okay. They were not united. He made the United States of Egypt. Wow. Joseph made that. Yeah. When the famine came about. The famine came about, because they were all against each other. Right. They were all separate from one another. When the famine came about, right? This is what happened. When the famine came about, people had to give their lands and all of that for bread to eat. So what did he do? He families of Mitzrayim. Okay. And they became the United States, Egypt. Okay. And they imputed all of their power unto Pharaoh. That's how it happened. And you know what? Something similar happened here in America like that. Okay. That's why you had the 50 states. And they all became united. Okay. And you know who was the secret hand in that? Niggas. Yeah. Niggas. Niggas taught them how to govern their own goddamn society, because America was getting ready to fall. We talk about plagues. There was a plague that went up on the cotton. There was a plague that went up on the cotton. If George Washington Carver didn't come out with the yams to destroy that, to fend off that bug that was eating up all the goddamn cotton, what would happen to the American economy?
If I could, sir, it just would have went down, and there wouldn't have been an America.
Right, exactly, because America built its economy back then. That was 48 cents a pound. You one slave, you picking how many pounds a day of cotton? You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money. That's the reason why the North had to come down. Because the South was getting way too powerful. They were getting way too rich. They're like, no, we cannot allow this. Now, the North had the industrial stuff going on. You know, they had vast majority of the metal and stuff like that. And so they could forge weapons to go down and fight the South.
God.
You know, that's what they were doing. They were coming down. That's why the Civil War was, that's why it was one of the most recognizable wars on the planet.
God.
Because they came down to the South, and what did they do? They took what they got from the South and moved it up to North, and that's what started Wall Street. There was a plague on them damn cotton, on that cotton. Now, what you got the class label there, boy?
Let's see. The coronavirus is an end time plague in the Bible.
Yes, and how many plagues are there out there? Do you think we think the corona's gonna be the last thing?
Right.
That's laughable. We think the coronavirus is gonna be the last damn thing. The bird flu that came back.
God.
The bird flu has come back. Now think about that for a second. Now think about all of these other flus, because what did they do? Once they hit, they get stronger when they come back.
Yeah.
Serious. They got a strain of gonorrhea that nothing can. Gonorrhea out there now. The person used to get a shot in their behind and all of that stuff, and get pills and all of that.
God.
That stuff does nothing, because what it is. Here's the thing: when a lot of people get gonorrhea, right? They'll take the pills, they'll take whatever they need to take, and the stuff get off them, but the stuff still be in them, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
It gets stronger. So now it's even stronger than what it was. And then, like most diseases, you have carriers of the disease. And a carrier can have the disease and still put on their appearance as being healthy. Right?
God.
But then that carrier can go have sex with somebody and they get messed up behind it. That's one of the things that the white man did during the time with the Gadites.
God.
They were carriers of the diseases. That's why they can run around with the blankets of smallpox.
Right.
They were carriers. And they had no problems running around with those smallpox blankets. They would give them to the Gadites, and what would happen to the Gadites after that? They were done.
Right.
They were dead. And they would die fast, quick. It's just like with roaches. You can put certain roach poisons out, but eventually the roaches build an immunity to it. Like the roach motels and all of that. They can infect the other ones. They're carriers of the disease of the poison that they ate. And they spread it to the other roaches, and the other roaches die. They might live.
Come.
And they just spread it around, and bing, all of these roaches die. Verse 8. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Right.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
If I may, Adawan, it's real heavy what you're saying. It says they knew that the children of Israel was mightier. That's just like when somebody's hating on you, it's because they know you mightier than them.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exact. Yes, they know that you're mightier than them. So what do they want to do? They want to hold councils to try and stop you.
Right.
From your enterprise. They want to stop you. They sit back and they hold councils and stuff like that. What are we going to do about him? What are we going to do about him or them or whatever the damn case is? What are we going to do?
Right.
And that's what they do. Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies. See this? Now think about it, because the ancient Egyptians had some powerful enemies. The Amorites. all the families of Canaan, all the seven families, seven prominent families of Canaan at the time.
Right.
Those were the enemies. You know, the Canaanite, all of these Africans were superpowers on the earth. They were the biggest powers. There wasn't no powers bigger. Moved us into the land of Canaan to fight all of these nations that were bigger and stronger and more powerful than us.
Right.
Because just like, you know, just like today, your powers was with Ham. The majority of the powers, you know, the superpowers. That's where all the power was at. It made everybody else be cool. They made everybody else be quiet. You know. And fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. What were they trying to do? Get us up out of the land. Now think about this for a second. You get up out of the, you know, you people get up out the land that you are separate from them, and then you join them. What do? You're taking their plagues. So the answer to this is to separate from them.
Right.
That's what it is. To separate. It's not to be joined with them or any of that. It's to separate from them. And that's one thing that our people really got to understand. We really got to understand that. That coronavirus and all of that, people are getting that because of what? And I ain't even heard so many cases where it's really hitting blacks and Hispanics like that. Right. It's hitting them devils.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And them damn Vietnamese and all of them and all of them Asians and all of that. It's hitting them.
God.
You know, Koreans, all of them. You know. Niggas ain't, you know, brothers ain't eating no goddamn bat. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially the way you see that they look on Facebook. Good night. Well, a dog with wings, you know what I'm saying? With sharp ass teeth and like, good night. Who the hell want to eat that?
Right.
That's insane. That gives the total creeps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like something out of a damn horror movie. Fruit bat? I mean, really though, a fruit bat. Well, eat a vulture then. You might as well. Eat one of them damn buzzards or something. You might as well. You're gonna eat that, right? The Most High is putting those diseases up on them. He wants us to be afraid to be around them. To be honest with you, he does.
Right.
He wants us to be afraid to be around them. Now he can start to do what he wants to do. Sometimes that's what it takes for us just to be scared. You know, sad to say, but it's true. Sometimes it takes for us to be scared in order for the Lord to do what he wants to do. And then we think this is the last thing. We think, oh yeah, we think, really, is that what we think? We think that this is the only plague that's going to come out. No. All them old plagues that only hit for a little season and then you didn't hear nothing else about them, they're going to hit too.
Right.
And they're going to hit hard. They're going to be stronger than what they were before. They're going to be stronger. You know, just like you had the gonorrhea and then the super gonorrhea. You know what I'm saying? Gonorrhea on steroids. You know what I'm saying? The Hulk gonorrhea. You know what I'm saying? Green. Right. The Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You got that. Now what I would like to do is I want to go ahead and hit into Song of Solomon.
Come.
Do you got a pocket with your boy?
I can read it. I got it on here at a while.
Oh, okay. Let's go to Song of Solomon. Let's see what verse we can start at. So we go ahead and start with verse 1.
Come. The Song of Solomon, verse 1.
No, Salaki, Wisdom of Solomon.
Come, Salaki.
Salaki, my bad.
Got a one. The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1.
Chapter 11 and verse 1.
Come. This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and verse 1. She prospered their works in the hand of the holy prophet.
Okay, who is the she that is talking about?
So
It's talking about wisdom.
come.
Wisdom is always looked at as a she, metaphorically. Yeah, it's talking about, that's the she that it's talking about.
Come. Was not inhabited, and pitched tents in places where there.
We think, well, what are we going to do, Asians? What are we going to do if we can't go to the Vietnamese and get our nails done?
Right.
Or if we can't go to the Koreans and get hair? What we's going to do? That's how we be thinking. What we's going to do? Man, you was doing good before you had any of these, quote unquote luxuries.
Right.
We was doing well, very well before that. We had 4 prestigious colleges. Before we were even integrated, we had 4 top of the line prestigious colleges where you had the best geniuses coming out of. Think about that. We were separate. We couldn't be with anybody else, right? Go ahead, Ward.
Come. Verse 3. They stood against their enemies and were avenged of their adversaries.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 4. When they were thirsty, they called upon thee, and water was given them out of the flinty rock.
Good night. Water out of a flinty rock. And you know what? This is literal. This ain't metaphorical. The Most High makes, these scientific laws and everything, right? He's not bound by them like we are. He can do whatever he wants.
Right.
A flint rock. Flint rock is the type of rock that has no holes or nothing like that in it. It's super hard and it's like smooth. The Most High made water come out of that. He's not bound by the same laws we bound by.
Right.
You can't bring no water out of no damn rock. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that.
Huh.
He brought water out of the flinty rock to show the people, because what he's trying to do, he's like, have some faith.
Right.
Have some faith. Have some faith. Water's a mirror into something delicious.
Right.
Which it was known for being like the damn Ohio River, full of filth.
Come.
And he turned that, you know what I'm saying? He takes the things that you think like, man, there ain't no way nobody can do nothing with that, and he do something with it. He does it on purpose.
Right.
Because what is he trying to do? He's trying to build your faith. We don't need these other nations. We don't need them damn Asians and all of them. We don't need none of them. That's one thing that we got to understand. We don't need them, and the Lord is plaguing them. He's trying to do it to where he hits them. But our prayers for them, for all of these other nations of the world and all of that, our prayers for the world is semi-tying his hands. That's one thing that we got to understand. And just like I said, I think it was the last class that I taught, the ISUPK is making these things, the Lord's listening to us and making these things happen. Remember Warrior in Louisville.
Right.
Now, remember that, right? With the shutting down of everybody looking at, y'all niggas, this and that. And that post that blew up all crazy and all of that. Nobody was doing that at first.
Kind of.
Right? And I'm thinking we take everything down one heathen at a time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One heathen at a time. Y'all stood in front of that place, had that place shut down, and they boarded it up. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. You number one. Y'all stood in front of that and had it boarded up and all that. Now think about this for a second. Look at it through the eyes of the Lord, of what we did when we stand up, just like them one brothers, even though they wasn't even in the truth. The one brothers that protested in front of that heathen, that Korean hair store.
Come.
Those brothers wasn't even in the truth. But what does the Lord see there? The Lord sees like they finally trying to do something about this.
Right.
A lot of times, Lord waiting. We sit there waiting on the Lord. A lot of times, He waiting on us.
Come.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He waiting on us. We sitting there, yes, waiting on the Lord.
Right.
Sometimes He's waiting on you.
That's right.
You got to do something bold. And what y'all did was bold. Now He can be with you and move with you. Because the Spirit of the Lord come to, when you go into the stories and everything, the Lord see men that are ready to do something about something, and then His Spirit comes with him. He don't look at the man that's not, not ready to do any damn thing. You know what I'm saying? His Spirit's not coming upon them like that. Go into the problem of that, right?
Right.
They had a move. They had a zeal to do something, and the Lord coupled His Spirit with what they were doing. He's like, yeah, I'm in agreement. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that nigga right there.
Right.
I like that. He ready, that nigga ready to put it up on that man. But if you ain't ready to do nothing, His Spirit come and look at you and be like, I ain't messing with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he just got to get that right or whatever it is. Seriously, that's the way what it be like. That's the reason why, when he see that passion that some brother have and everything, and the Spirit of the Lord starts to couple with that, and be like, yeah, this is a dude I could chill with. This is a dude, I'm with him on this.
Right.
Think about it. Name prophets that the Lord did this with.
This is lucky. I don't know. It's countless prophets.
Yes. And what did they do? They did something first, and then the Lord put His Spirit with it. And what they did was revolutionary. When go ahead, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying, Adawan, and oftentimes when a true priest and prophet of the Most High do something for the Lord, if you read the scriptures from my observation, those priests and prophets even got pushback from their own people, just like Christ.
Yes, right. Yes, you're right. It's exactly what happened. And their own people hated them and stuff like that, and sometimes wanted to put them to death.
Right.
Gideon. When Gideon threw down the idols and all of that, they wanted to have him killed. But you know what? The Spirit of the Lord was in agreement with him. Like, yeah, I'm going to agree with him.
Right.
I'm going to be with him. And that's how that happened. Next thing you know, he's out there with 300 men tearing up, you know what I'm saying? Thousands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's that agreement right there.
Right.
So now we think of another incident. Even King Saul. When King Saul rose up against the Philistines, when he very first became king, he had that anger, when they sit there, when they was talking about, such and such, they was all afraid and all of that. King Saul came up and was like, why everybody all scared and everything? And the Lord was with him in that. And the Lord sent His Spirit to be up on him, and he'd start tearing up them damn Philistines.
Right.
Samson, same deal. Samson, same thing. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern. Now let's get back into the scriptures, though.
If I could, Adawan, I got the scripture I would like to bring up.
Oh, go ahead.
This is in the book of Psalms, chapter 89 and verse 23. And I will beat down his foes before his face.
Right.
And plague them that hate him.
Yes. Why do they set up these nail salons and Korean hair salons and stuff in our neighborhoods. It's not just about enriching their nations, it's about hating us.
Right.
They're going into confederacy against the people that hate us because they hate us too. Because they know that if we rise to the power, the whole world is going to flip right side up, and they know it. All of them know. So they're willing to take hits. They're willing to take, money losses, all of that stuff, as long as we don't come into power.
That's right.
We don't even understand what we're dealing with here. We think it's all just only about money. No, it's not all just about money. It's about who is going to rule the world.
That's right.
That's what it's about. And what happened with, like I was saying, with that whole thing with the Chinese restaurants and all of that stuff, and that brother that stood strong and everything, and and had that Asian to let that brother loose, and that little young little kid loose, and all of that. The Lord hit them, and He hit them at home.
Right.
He hit them there first, because think about it. Who are they financed by? They're financed by the American government and home. They're financed by white people and the Chinese, right? And the Most High hit them with the largest portion of that coronavirus.
That's right.
And this thing was done on purpose. It wasn't an accident.
Back scriptures. Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You want back in the wisdom of Solomon?
Come. Yes, back in the wisdom of Solomon.
Khan. Verse 5. For by what things their enemies were punished, by the same they were in their need were benefited.
Think about that. Now let's let that sink in. Let's let that sink in for a second. Because we think we're just going to be just played and everything with everybody else and all of that. Oh, this is something that's happened to us. We need to stand together. Right? That's how we be thinking.
Right.
If we separate, we'll start to see the Lord plaguing them.
That's right.
He don't want to hit us with it. But when we join to them, what choice he got? Right?
Right.
What choice he got? You separate, and the Lord can hit them. And then who they gonna have to come to for answers? You.
Right.
Us getting power on the earth actually has a program to it. That's one thing that we don't understand. It actually has a program to it. There's rules to it. And we, like say for instance, when we had light in Goshen. Now check this out. The light that we had in Goshen that lit up everything, we had light while they were in darkness. Now, what was the light to us? Think about it for a second. The light to us made nighttime look like day.
Right.
It made it look like daytime. We doing it, we barbecuing it.
Right.
Drinking strong,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We sat there chilling and everything, you know what I'm saying? We sat there doing that, caressing the ribs and all of that. We, you know what I'm saying? We getting it in, you know what I'm saying? We doing well, right?
Right.
But that same light unto them was a terror because it represented the judgment of the Lord concerning them. And it produced no light for them. It was just a flaming fire that was burning.
Right.
Ready to burn their ass up.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? That's what it was to them. It was something totally different to us. So read that scripture again. I want to make sure that people understand this.
This is the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11, and verse 5. For by what things their enemies were punished.
Oh, stop. By what things their enemies were punished. Who's our enemies were punished, right?
Right.
I want this to sink into a lot of people. Keep going.
By the same, they in their need were benefited.
Who was benefited? Notice, what did it say? they in their need, right?
Come.
Because what? We was cut off from Egypt, whom we depended upon.
Right.
In our need, we were benefited. We had daylight at night, right?
Right.
We had that cloud of smoke and everything, but day, which we had the light from the sun, but then when the sun went down, we had that pillar of fire. And when they saw that fire, they were afraid. And it still didn't produce no light to them like that. Only the light of terror that like that fire was going to come and engulf them. But us, it was useful light. We chilling. Grass looking all green and shit, you know. You know what I'm saying? Looking all beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Everything looking all nice, you know. We run around with jewels and gold and stuff on, stunting real hard, you know what I'm saying? Rings on and making fringes and, you know, doing stuff and putting, you know, stuff in our garments and all of that. Chilling back, living lavishly.
That's right.
Drinking the wine, getting us strong in, you know what I'm saying? We living like that.
Right.
Wow. Hey, the same light, the same fire that produced that for us was producing a terror to them.
Right. Come.
Go ahead, Ward.
Yeah, if I may, sir, I want to give a couple of shout outs to the viewers. I want to give a shout out to Nayum, pleasant sister. Shalom, sis.
See if it's any questions on her also.
Come, sir. Also give a shout out to Freddie Jones. Give a shout out to the sister Lakina Manuel Craft. Give a shout out to Albert Taylor. If you have any questions, type them in. This is the ISUPK Louisville, Kentucky class. We getting it in.
Yeah, right. Go ahead, Word.
Come. Verse 6. For instead of a perpetual running river troubled with foul blood, verse 7, for a manifest reproof of that commandment whereby the infants were slain.
Right. Because Pharaoh sent out that commandment to have all the children slain. Go ahead.
Come. And now you look at this coronavirus, what's happening? You see little infants in those hospitals with the coronavirus.
Right. Being slain.
Right.
When they sought to slay us.
Come, sir. And it's real heavy because that's what they did in Louisville, Kentucky, when that Asian man kidnapped that youth, that young black boy. Hell, all we know, he was going to throw him in the pot and call him General Soul's chicken.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past him either.
And he probably sought to slay that little black youth. Now their youth is being slain by that coronavirus.
You're damn right. But here's the thing: they think the world should cry. Everybody should cry for that.
Right.
The hell with they people.
Right.
They ain't giving a damn about us at all.
Right.
You know, they should be sitting there turning over that damn, you know, them Chinese restaurant money. You know, the Lord is only going to let you coast for so long. Right. Chinese restaurants, look how rich the Chinese have got, right? Look how rich they got. Over the years, look how wealthy and powerful they got. You think it's going to last forever?
Come.
Really? You think it's going to last forever? No, it's not going to last forever. So go ahead, Warren.
Come. Thou givest unto them abundance of water by a means which they hope not. Come.
Real talk. I go ahead.
Come. Verse 8. Declaring by that thirst, then how thou hast punished their adversaries.
Same thing. Punish the adversaries because the water, now think about it for a second. Now, the water that was blessing us was punishing them.
Right.
That's the way, you know what? That's one of the reasons why in these science labs or when you go to the doctor and all that, when they take your blood, that's why they're taking your blood, because they're trying to find out how they can manipulate it because they know what you are.
Wow.
To hurt you.
Oh, God.
You know, that's what they're doing. That's why they are samples for your whole goddamn life, right?
Right.
Why do they keep taking it? Because they're trying to do new things with your blood to try to hurt you and hurt your people, but without hurt themselves or any other race. Because they understand, I'm ready to drop some science stuff.
Right.
They understand that the curses and blessings in Deuteronomy 28 is encoded inside your DNA.
Right.
That's why they do it. So now what they do is they figure, how can they put the curse up on you and hurt you with it? But make it to where it does not hit them, because, you know what I'm saying, you are the Israelite. They're not.
Right.
Think about that for a second. That's what they trying to do. Hell, they could be sitting there, that's one of the reasons why they make pork the cheapest meat.
Right.
Because they trying to pressure you into buying it because they know you're the poorest people. So now when you eat the pork, you're unclean. And they know it. You're perpetually unclean when you eat the pork, and you don't have a mindset of being that way. So now they can keep you that way. And now you can tell others, well, get these pork chops on the grill, and they tempted because pork chops taste good.
Right.
Right? So now you done got a bunch of brothers, and you know what I'm saying, over there, they're all eating pork chops. One brother know he's an Israelite and everything. He's eating the pork chops too.
Right.
He's weak in the faith and everything like that, right? He's not as strong. So he's eating it down. He's running around talking about, yeah, we with God's cleansing, no man called common or unclean. He's like that.
Right.
That stuff's done on purpose. Now let's go back into the scripture. Or was you doing some work?
No.
Yeah, let's go back into the scriptures.
Khan, this is the wisdom of Solomon. They knew how the ungodly were judged in wrath and torment. Tormented.
Yes, because in ancient Egypt, we had to see this. We had to see it. The Lord put it out there in front of us like that, so we would see it. For secular stories, I'm not going to go into them. Detailed stories of us seeing them being punished.
Right.
And some of it was so horrific.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes right along with what the Bible says. It just goes into more detail, but I'm not going to go into that. They were punished pretty fiercely, but the Apocrypha does do a good job. And we're going to go into that too.
Thirsting in another manner than the just.
Right. Yeah, think about it. How were the ancient Egyptians thirsty? What?
They turned the river into blood in that instance of the plague. And
right.
And in Goshen, we had water, right?
Here's the thing. When it said thirsting in another way, because the Most High is the living water.
Khan.
Right? He's the living water. They did not have the living water. They were thirsting physically and spiritually both, while a lot of us was only just thirsting physically.
Khan.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because all of this stuff was, kind of it was in measure. Because what were they trying to do? They were trying to divide stuff against us too. Just like what they would do right now, just like what they're doing now. They were trying to divide stuff against us. They were still a superpower. And it came, like this sparring match between us and them and all of that, So they were thirsting in another way. We had the living water. So what we could do is we could drink 1 cup of water and be cool.
Right.
While them, they could drink 10 cups and still be thirsty.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was also spiritual and physical both. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 10. For these thou didst admonish and try as a father but the other as a severe king thou didst condemn and punish.
Well, think about that. He handled us as a father, but handled them as a fierce king.
Right.
I saw that movie, The Tudors. You know, I mean, not movie, but series, The Tudors.
Come.
And when the king's wrath came about, man, it was a scary thing. Because I saw that, I had to think about the Lord.
Right.
You know, when the king's wrath came down and people started getting their heads chopped off, all kind of stuff like that. Like
Purim, and that was the whole point of Esther's courage, because she knew that the king's wrath could come upon her.
Right. Exactly. That's the first thing to think about,
right,
you know.
Right.
Yeah, let's go back into the scripture.
Come. Verse 11. Whether they were absent or present, they were vexed alike.
What does it mean, absent or present? Think about it. Go into today's time, right? You got people traveling the world. You had people back then that left out of ancient Egypt, and they went into other lands, just like what the white man do today.
Come.
What did he do? He traveled the world. Well, Egyptians did the same thing. They didn't just stay inside Egypt. They were living the high life. They were powerful, rich. They could go where they wanted to go.
Right.
They left Egypt and were going to the land or whatever they had, and they were punished also in that land that they went to. The coronavirus.
Right.
Where the Chinese being punished at. Where the white man being punished at also.
Right.
He's being punished at wherever he goes with that coronavirus. That stuff is hidden everywhere.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest signs this year of us, how we should be separated from every other nation. Unless we'll be a partaker in their plagues. That's not what we want.
Come.
Matter of fact, let me see what time. Let me get a time check. Where?
Come. So 8:38 out of one.
Okay.
If I may, let's bring one scripture out. It's in Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning.
Right. And they said plagues, not the plague, like one plague, you know, not just the coronavirus. It's going to hit all kind of different stuff. And just like I was talking about before, all of these different, you know, plagues and everything that were here before, they were here for a little minute and they were gone. Here for a little minute and gone. Right?
Right.
They're going to start coming back.
That's right.
On steroids. They're going to start coming back harder. And the sword, you know, and all of that. I'm so glad China's taking a hit like that.
That's right.
I'm so glad. Because they've been sitting there live so deliciously off Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right. They've been here since the damn late 1800s. Right. Mid to late 1800s, based off the enslavement of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They knew it. They set up Chinatown, them opiate dens, and all of that. You know, they set all of that stuff up, became so rich. A good word.
Come. I want to bring this one out if I could. This is in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48 and verse 29. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceedingly proud, his loftiness and his arrogancy and his pride and the haughtiness of his heart.
Right. Yes. Yes, exactly. What they should be doing, they should be giving us money. Right. We don't need their food. Right. We don't need the food donations coming from no damn Moabites. You know what I'm saying? But they should be handing us money. Where are the Asian boot kissers at? I wonder. They need to be kissing boots too.
Come.
And more than kissing boots, filling up the damn donation buckets.
Come.
They own a large portion of Wall Street. They're being hit. They're being hit pretty tough right now because of their whole Corona thing. And in the ISUPK, we're going to make sure that no one forgets about this thing.
Come. And if I may, sir, check it out. It says the pride of Moab. A lot of people think about the pride of Esau, but the scriptures talk about the pride of Moab, just like that in Louisville, Kentucky this summer when that Asian man held that gun to that little black boy.
Right.
And the mother was right there, and they kept on telling that Asian man to release that black boy to his mama. And in his pride, he can come in our neighborhoods, have a business, kidnap our children, and hold a gun to our children's head. That's prideful.
Yes, very proud. I saw that. He had a chrome piece on top of that.
Right.
Nice old chrome piece. To that boy, to that little boy.
Okay, Kentucky, under yourself, Adawan, under Officer Rock, was able to go down there and stop that mistreatment of black people by them Asians.
You know, that's why, that's what would have hit that thing with Rocky with his little pump behind.
Right.
Yeah. I know that little, you know what I'm saying, that little, I ain't gonna say no derogatory name or nothing.
Right.
But I knew him personally, you know.
God.
We used to work together. When he saw me, he took off running. You know what I'm saying? He ran to the back.
Right.
Yeah, but he had that Corona mask on his face.
It's real heavy you said that, out of one, because you was trying to point out, you saying, look, you know, why they got masks on there and you don't? Maybe they working with something. It's something to protect them, but not protect you.
Right.
And that pertains to all black women that go into them nail shops and dealing with them. They know they working with something that's harmful, and they trying to protect themselves and not a black woman.
Right. And it's like that brother that I was talking to. He didn't really know much about nothing.
Right.
But I was trying to let him know. You don't let your woman go into that place. We who the hell do nails but were more creative with things like that than black women? No one. No one's more creative than they are. Black women were always doing these things. Black women putting damn diamonds on the goddamn nails now.
Right.
Just putting studs on the nails. I mean, think about that for a second. And who the hell is more, artistic than they are when it comes to things like that and hair and all of that. Really though. We done sat there and then gave these people our spirit.
Right.
We done gave it up to them. It's like it's nothing. But then they want a black man to pay for them.
Right.
I don't mean to go into a story or nothing, but one of my ex-ribs and everything, my nails done. No, what I could do, I could spend more than that and get you a goddamn kit and you can start doing your own damn nails.
Right.
That's more virtue inside that. You know what I'm saying? There's something more in that.
Oh God.
Yeah, but hell, let's go to I want to go into the other plagues that was coming down upon the ancient Egyptians, and people think that that's not going to come down upon them. Let's go to verse let's go to chapter 12 and verse 1. We'll start with that.
This is the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12 and verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Verse 2. Therefore chasteneth thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended.
Now think about it. The Lord does this all the time with these nations. He puts them into remembrance where they offended, but they're not taking heed. That's what it is. He puts them in. That's what he did with the ancient Egyptians. He put them in remembrance to where they will see certain things. When the rivers turned to blood, what was the first thing they should have thought of? Go ahead, Ward.
I'll give a crack at the other one. They should have thought about the blood that they shed. I'm going somewhere with this, but when they threw all those male children in that Nile River.
That's exactly what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was looking for. What you just said. That's exact.
Come.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's what that is. Now, yeah, they should have thought about that, shouldn't they?
Come.
But they didn't give a damn about the remembrance of that, did they? They didn't care. Go ahead, Ward.
Come. That leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord.
Right. Now, with them believing on the Lord, right, that means they will put themselves up under subjection to the Israelites.
Come.
If they don't do that, they're not believing.
Right.
Straight up. White man don't put himself up under us, he's not believing. Chinese man don't put himself up under us, he's not believing. The African don't put himself up under us, he's not believing. The Arab, right, so on and so forth. They're not believing.
Right.
Straight up. So let's keep going, Ward.
Come. Verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy the hands of our fathers, both those old inhabitants of thy holy land.
Yeah, who was the old inhabitants? Those same nations that we were just talking about, them 7 powerful nations of Canaan. That's who it's talking about. All right, let's keep going. So we kind of running out of time.
Come. Verse 4. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices.
Good.
Verse 5. And also those merciless murders of children.
There we go. Merciless murders of children. What did the Chinese do? The Chinese eat babies, and we already know.
Right.
Here's the thing. It's kind of hard to wrap our minds around this stuff, but they're eating our babies.
Right.
All them aborted babies and stuff like that, they feasting on that. They're selling it to them. You think they're just throwing that stuff away? No, they want to catch a cut off of it.
Right.
You got the stem cell babies, all of that stuff, but then you have the ones that the Asians want to eat. They having our babies with some chopsticks and shit.
Come. So the next words, and devourers of men's flesh.
There we go. That's that. That's it. Yes. Yes. We might run about 15 minutes over.
Come.
We'll work.
And the feast of blood.
Right. That's what the Africans do. And that's one of the reasons also, too, why the Asians do what they do. Because the Asians, think about it for a second. Where did Lot's 2 sons take their wives from? Or what race?
The Asians, Moab and Ammon.
Right. They took them. But who did they take their wives from, though? Because there was no Asians.
Oh, that's right. You said Moab?
Moab and Ammon. Remember, Lot had 2 sons. One was Moab, and the other one was Ben-Ami, who became Ammon. The father of the Ammonites, right? Where did they take their wives from? What stock of people?
Don't Slacky, the Edomites.
They took it from the Canaanites.
Oh,
Hamites.
Come.
And that's one of the reasons why South Africans have that Asian look. You ever see a lot of South Africans, they have them Chinese eyes and stuff like that, because Ammon and Moab got with women that were likened to them and start producing children. They were slant eyes. Go ahead.
And it's like, if I could, and I think you was telling me something about this, like in Mongolia and places like that, they still got like Asian people with froze. Like they don't acknowledge them because they too dark. They
Right, because it shows them, yeah, you're right. because it shows their origins, how they were in their origins. And a lot of races don't like that. A lot of races hate when you go back and dig into who they are, just like the white man don't like when you dig it back to him and see he was a caveman.
Right.
He don't like that. Asians don't like when you go back into who they are, and they were dark skinned with afros and all of that. They don't like that. You see what I'm saying? Because that reminds them of primitive them. You know, they don't really don't like it because they want to believe that they what's the name evolved.
Come.
That's what they want to believe. Now, when you put that, that shows where they evolved from. They don't like that. You know, what they came from. You know, they don't like that at all.
In verse 6, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help.
Huh. Now, that was also Canaanite culture, no doubt. And that's where the white man got a lot of his culture from. They were doing the same thing, even with their own children. You know, the Canaanites were known for these things, and the Canaanites had so much influence upon the earth because they were so rich and powerful.
Come.
Sodom and Gomorrah, those were Canaanite people. Those are all Canaanites. Then they were the world power at that time before ancient Egypt.
Come.
You know, they were the world power. Sodom and Gomorrah, Zeboam and Admah. You know, and Zoar. Zoar was the smallest of them. That's where Lot was at. You know, in the cave with Zoar with his daughters and everything in the cave. They didn't get destroyed as bad as all the other ones because the other ones, the Lord, He judges things in measure. You know, Sodom was the most powerful. After Sodom was Gomorrah, and then Zeboam and Admah, and then Zoar was the least powerful. That's one of the reasons why the Lord didn't destroy Zoar all the way, just like what He did with them.
Come.
You know, and that's why Lot was able to have just stay in the cave in Zoar, and his daughters came and slept with him and produced these mongoloid children.
Right.
You know, the children with slanted eyes and stuff like that. And what did they do? They went with the Africans that had the same features.
Right.
And started to produce children, and then they became Ammon and Moab and all of that, and then eventually ended up becoming China and Japan.
Right.
And Vietnam and Laos and all of those places. That's one of the reasons why when you see them, they have, you know, the Asians, they have the little neck thing, or they do a lot of the same customs.
Come.
You know, with them little rings around their neck and have their neck stretched all up long and all of that. That's just not African stuff. Asians do those same customs. The plates in their lips, all of that. Look it up. Person don't believe me, look it up.
Right.
They do all of that. You know, Tibet, all of those places like that, them high mountain ranges of, you know, of Moabites and Ammonites and all of that, they do the same customs. They follow the customs of their mama. Because the mama, when it comes to religion and stuff like that, always have a super powerful influence upon the children. Think about this for a second. Flash yourself back to that time, right? Now you have Ammon, you have Moab and Ammon, right? Now Lot was a lawful man. You know. Now you have Moab and you have Ammon, right? And they married these Canaanite women. Where were they at? They were in Canaan. They didn't go and get women of, you know what I'm saying, anywhere else. They married the women that they were, you know what I'm saying, wise. Now you got Moab and Ammon who kind of lightly wanted to follow the ways of the father, but the influence of their mothers, because the mothers are always the first one to take you to church.
Right.
Think about it for a second. Who the first person who took you to church? In majority of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian neighborhoods. Who's the first person that took you there?
Right.
And that's with anything, with everything, right?
Come.
You know, even with the heathen nations, it'd be the same thing. The mom took them there. You know, the mom took them and brought them, you know what I'm saying, there and everything. And what did she want them to do? She wanted them to marry people of her stock, of course. Just like what happened with Judah.
Okay.
You know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, the Most High had to take out and Onan. And he left, had a Canaanite, ended up getting a Canaanite wife also.
Okay. And if I may, out of one, that's just like what happened with Ishmael. Remember Hagar, the Egyptian woman?
Right.
She gave Ishmael an Egyptian woman.
Right. Like unto her. Yes.
Okay.
Right. Like unto her. And he ended up becoming the father, you know, of the Arabians. A totally different stock of people, you know. And that's the same damn people that sit there and sell us food inside their damn, you know, little stores and all of that. And they call us brother because they know. That's why they call us brother, but they try to use it in their benefit.
Right.
We brother when it comes to buying stuff from them. And us spending our money. Good.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we brother as long as they got our women working for them behind the counter. Exactly. But we better not have no Arab woman working with us.
Right.
We better not.
Right. Better not, never. Right. So what do you see the power dynamic in that? And it's the same thing with the Africans. The Africans do the same damn thing. Not saying that no brother should ever get with no African or no Arab woman, but look at the dynamic there. They screwing your woman, you get nothing of theirs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They screwing, you know, black women all the damn time, and they got their woman and yours, both. Think about this for a second. Now, how does that make us look on the earth? When they got our woman and their own woman. You see what I'm saying? That's some slavery stuff right there. Because that's what the slave master had. He had his wife and he had yours.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, probably had to get permission from him to just sleep with your own wife.
Right.
Right. He throw her on you, everything. After he done sit there and the jizzed all over her face and everything, and then just, you know, go on in there. Yeah, go on in there and give him a little bit or whatever, and you bring your ass back here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Man, that's some humiliating stuff right there.
Right. If I could, they got something out called ghetto gaggers. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah, I heard of it before.
That's exactly what they do. I mean, and that can be validated by scriptures because the scripture said that you would betroth a wife and she would be given to another.
Right. Another man shall lie with her. Right.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
Right. Yes, I saw that. When I was in the world, I saw that ghetto gaggers thing. I'm like, damn, I was traumatized.
Right.
I was traumatized. I had heard about it first, you know, and I happened to look it up and everything. I'm like, damn,
right.
For real? Man, they was doing the most humiliating stuff to them black women, and they were loving it. The black woman was loving it. On top of that, I'm like, damn. Now these were the same type of black women that you would see in the hood. So they were going back into the hood, and you know those women had kids. That Raven that was on that show, schoolgirl show thing, whatever you call it, the little prep schoolgirl.
And if
she was on it.
Right. And if I'm, oh, wow. I don't know.
Yeah, she was on it.
Wow.
Yeah, she was on it. I remember it. She was on there getting done bad. Them type of dumbass sisters, I send that picture out there to them. The devil dude got her in fish hooks. And she got blonde hair on. While he's hitting her from the back, he got his hands hooked into her mouth, pulling her mouth back.
Right.
And he's hitting her like that. And I send that because all these goddamn sisters talk about black men. I send them that picture. Right. It's not showing her, you know, body or nothing like that, but it just shows her face being fish hooked.
God. And if I may, that's a plague of the mind.
Right.
You know, at a plague, like think about that. That black man, she's some black man's wife, and then she go back home to him. And not saying that would be something that you would do, but let's say he made that request. to have all that stuff done. She'll look at him like he's not worthy to engage in, because the scriptures say that the marriage bed is undefiled. I'm just saying, but that's a plague of the mind. I mean, wow, it's just real heavy what you bring up.
Really, he's not really looking at her like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying he's not really looking at her like that. He don't even look at her. If he's like that, he's not even looking at her as his woman.
Right.
He's just trying to catch his cut off the porn money.
Okay.
He's not really even looking at her like that in a lot of instances.
Okay.
We'll go ahead with.
Oh, it's like I just had another scripture I can bring up.
Oh, go ahead with.
This is in the book of Revelation, chapter 15 and verse 1. This is concerning the coronavirus. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels, having the 7 last plagues, for them is filled up the wrath of God.
Yeah, I mean, we think about that. Here's the thing too, because when they talk about the 7 last plagues, right? Viruses might all go into the category of one plague.
Come.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you think about it, when you go to the old school plagues like the Black Death, the Red Death, this death, that type of death, all of that stuff. Now, we name things, but that might not be it might be all categorized as one. So think about what the other ones are, the other 6.
Okay.
Bugs, all kind of different bugs, or whatever the case is.
Right.
Hurricane, whatever the case,
Yeah, if I may, it's real heavy, because like you seen all the plagues that came upon ancient Egypt. Now America's like ancient Egypt, and now you see the plagues coming upon America, like what happened in the end time.
Right.
Of that society.
Yeah, right. And with that being said, we have the I.S.U.P.K coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, at the commanded GEN.YAHANNA. Pay your tithes, get ready for the Passover. It's coming up April 9th.
That's right.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, regardless of what camp you in or whatever the damn case is, be there.
Right.
About to pass the class over to myself. Brother I.S.U.P.K started out at 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give the treasury department or teacher. Preach fund. Free will offer for priests. Not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, like I said, we got the Passover. Be there.
Right.
Announce holy convocation sheet. Remind Aki and my Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black. Boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. With that being said, Amachu, upon Haki down, rise and face the east. We'll go over the Lord's Prayer. Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabbat
Shemayim.
Kodash. Ayah.
Ayah.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malak.
Malak Waka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Badazaka.
Badazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamai.
Bashamai.
Latananawa.
Lathananawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Call.
Call.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak now.
Wasalak now.
Kabuwapi now.
Kabawapi now.
Kasalak now.
Kasalak now.
Kabuwapi now.
Kabawapi now.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabayan.
Amen.
Aman.
Amen.
English. Our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in heaven.
Which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
That will be done.
That will be done.
Earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And forgive us for our debts.
Forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
We forgive our debtors.
And lead us not.
Lead us not.
Into temptation.
Into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Sir. Of Israel. Mada Shabbat. Majum. Barak. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakatah. Courteous salute to the sisters. Mada Shabbat. Majum. Barak.
Yahweh Shamar Ayatan Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Yasbatah. Class dismissed.
Come. Okay. Most High Christ. The wild class out of one. It's the wild class. Yeah, I like that one. So kind of off the cuff, but you know what I mean? Shoot.
If I will work. Yeah, well, I'm gonna share with you.
Okay,
what
let me
plan on doing.
Come. Let me get this. Make sure it's good to go.